All right. Okay. Okay. What's going on? What's going on? So decided to pop in and just kind of, you know, felt like sharing some thoughts on some things because there's been a lot going on in terms of Microsoft, in terms of the upcoming cash grab that is Dead or Alive 6 last round. And so, yeah, so hopefully people that might catch this after the live, hopefully everybody is doing good. And salute to whoever I would say is here. I'm not really looking at the chat at the moment. I'm gonna try to be a little less off topic today. Because I have a few plans. I have a few goals that I want to accomplish with this particular stream. Um, I wanted to speak on those things, the Microsoft thing, because it's very I don't think people actually no, not think. I know people don't really understand fully what's really going on, and they just see they just see things happening, and they're just like, "Oh my god, Microsoft is doing this," and they don't understand why this is happening, and they don't understand that this is actually something that needs to happen. And so I want to get into that. I want to get more in depth on the whole Dead or Alive situation, because there's been things that has been I've been noticing on social media from Team Ninja, like the actual company. The things that I've seen them post have I've just laughed. Like it is just such a disrespect. So I have been sharing my latest video regarding Dead or Alive. I think I did that video like last month. And so that video, it's around like 4,000 views, which is for me is great. Believe me, I wish all my videos were 4,000 views. But I've been kind of whoring that video out amongst the Dead or Alive community. And I wouldn't be surprised that at some point I'll probably get blocked by Team Ninja if they if they feel I'm well, probably not. I don't think they view me as any kind of a threat. But since I've been whoring out that one particular video, I just felt like, you know what, maybe I should just make a new one that's more current, since that game comes out in like, I think it's what, 8 more days. So I want to talk about that. Also, there's a couple of video games I wanted to play. I just re-downloaded Mass Effect Andromeda, not Andromeda. What is it called? The collection, because I have like it's like a collection of Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. So I want to mess around with the first game. Uh, I was surprised to learn that EA has a trial, a 10-hour trial for the new UFC 6 game, the mixed martial arts game. So I want to mess around with that. Hopefully it can actually function with my current setup. I hope, because sometimes when I'm playing a game using the Xbox remote feature, sometimes it just doesn't work. Like that's what happens to me whenever I try to play Doom the Dark Ages. I have to kind of do some extra steps to get it to work. Hopefully UFC 6 won't be like that. So I want to kind of get to that after I get done with the other topics that I want to talk about. So yeah, so so basically the goal is, when I start talking about these things, I want it to be like as if I'm making an actual video, because I do intend to clip that part out and just upload it later, maybe the day after or so. But I'll be dealing with the chat here and there in between. But it's so easy to kind of get lost, because I was actually, I was on Reddit one of the few times that I've ever go on that website, and they were talking about just the difficulties of being a streamer. And you know it's interesting, because I agree. Many were saying that their brain capacity goes down a lot between monitoring the chat, making sure the stream is actually functioning well. If you're playing a game, trying not to suck at the game, doing all that shit at the same time. Oh, and then probably trying to clip out certain things. So yeah, there is a lot of mental stack there. And to kind of see an entire group of people that do this sort of thing actually state that, uh, it felt good to read. Because not to say I always thought I was the only one. I know I'm not, but it does get kind of a little bit tricky because I can be talking about one particular thing, and then I know people don't mean, well, should I say, I know they mean well, but if I'm, let's say, if I'm talking about what's going on with, like for today, Microsoft closing a bunch of fucking studios, and then you got a bunch of like a random that will ask me, oh, what do you think of Virtua Fighter 6? I'm like, bro, do you not read the room? Like, I am not even remotely thinking about Virtua Fighter 6. Like, you clearly hear me talking about studios closing from Xbox. It's just shit like that just throws your whole like your whole train of thought off. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're interacting with like somebody in the chat that you're engaging with, that's different. But yeah, it is kind of weird. So I watch several other like more seasoned streamers, and they kind of typically stay more on topic, you know. Even if it's a super chat, they'll probably get through their shit, and then they'll go back and be like, okay, this is what this is what this person said, blah blah blah. And I've noticed I've had issues with that to the point where I end up not even doing what I intended on having the stream for. So it's kind of like trying to find that proper balance, because from what I see, this, like, the Microsoft situation is like the number one fucking thing that everybody is talking about right now. Like, literally everybody I've seen are talking about this. Microsoft is like this, or they're the enemy. This is a good thing. This is a bad thing. And then, a couple other things. People still talking about the God of War situation. A few people are having like this. They're shilling for Dead or Alive 6. So, I've spoken about Virtua Fighter 6 at length, like countless times. Unless you're like like completely brand new to my channel, then maybe I understand. But everybody that's here, I've done videos on VF6. I've spoken about that game countless times. I think that my position on that is pretty clear. The same goes for Tekken 8. So there's sometimes I just don't feel like talking about those things, especially if I'm in like the groove of talking about what is actually current. Because we're not seeing Virtua Fighter 6 until late next year. So as far as I'm concerned, that shit is nowhere near going to be released. So I'd much rather try to focus on things that are going to be happening either this year or at least early next year. So that's basically the plan. So hopefully people will enjoy the ride that I will basically take them on. Like I said, I'm going to be playing a couple of games, probably later on, because I expect I'm probably going to be on this stream for a while. If people have something specific they really want to ask me, I mean, shit, help support the channel, throw me a super chat. I can get to that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not main man Swee. I don't make thousands of dollars doing this. So that definitely, that helps. But yeah, that's kind of like really what I want to kind of address. So yeah. What's going on, everybody? And hope everybody is doing well. Right now it's about 8:17 p.m. here for me in New York. I've been interacting on Twitter a bit of yesterday and today, so I'm gonna probably show some of my responses to some people. I've gotten a lot of notifications from people that were like kind of engaging with some of the shit that I was saying on Twitter more than usual. I mean, not to the degree of what happened with me with the Tekken 8, the you know, the anime nerds coming after me for the Hanmuro character, not to that degree, but the you know, the Xbox studio closures and just kind of like look, it's a fucking business. People are going to make the decisions that they're going to make, and you know, sometimes I do wonder, the people that speak on these things, I kind of wonder, are they children? Like, I understand that there's some people that, you don't know who's watching you, and you don't know how old they are or how young they are. But sometimes I wonder that the people that speak on these things, I really think that they're probably teenagers. They really don't know much of anything, outside of pressing the buttons and buying the game. Of course, a few other people I have seen that will be, that have been commenting on these things, and I can tell based on their reaction that they seem to know what they're talking about. So, it's a mixture, but I'm going to get into all of that because there's a couple of tweets, like I said, that I made, a couple of reposts. I'm pretty sure if I were to go through Twitter right now, I'm pretty sure like there's like dozens of people still talking about the shit. And so yeah, that's basically the long and the short of it. So anyway, let me just share this real quick. Let me go and take care of that. I want to share my stream to someone else that I know, just to kind of be like, hey, get in here and let's get in here so I can educate you, basically. Let me see. I'm just doing this right quick. All right, there we go. So I can cut that out and get rid of that. I think on Twitter I'm all good, right? Okay. So let me make sure I share my screen so people can kind of see what's what. All right. So basically, here's the Twitter. So as you can see right here, you can see 99 people liked my reply. And basically, this is me speaking about the one of the studio closures, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think this was like Double Fine. Oh shit, it got over 16,000 views. Wow. Yeah, so Double Fine, I believe they're the ones that came up with this particular game. This Kiln. I thought it was a stupid ass name, by the way. And yeah, so that was when I took that photo, that was, I think, late last night, because I was up into the morning. And it's like, you got to make money. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a very niche game, but you at the end of the day, you gotta bring in the money. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not if you're not a net positive, you're subject to be closed. So that's why I put here, I would love to know who in the studio meeting thought this project was worth greenlighting. And apparently I had over 16,000 views for it, which is kind of wild. And a lot of likes, which was also crazy. So some people, they just didn't really understand where I was coming from. People were thinking like, oh, well, you're just being led by Steam numbers and shit like that. And it's like, obviously these people don't know me, because I don't I don't play games on PC. I have an Xbox, but Steam is a viable barometer to gauge how something is doing. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody will disagree with that. So, so I just wanted to kind of you know, get on with that, and yeah. So, but anyway, let me get started real quick, and let's just get this straight. Let's just get this started. So, you know what? Actually, before I do that, I should literally put this laptop literally on my lap. I think that's what I'll do. I think that's what I'll do. Yeah. because I want to just probably speak to or show some different articles. So let me see how this is framing me, because like I said, I want to post this later on. So let me raise that. All right, cool. Because there's a lot to be said about this. So anyway, what's up to everybody in the stream? So I want to just kind of just kick this off by let me just add a stream marker for this. I want to kick this off and talk about the news that Microsoft finds themselves in right now. So in in the event that you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, which I highly doubt because it's like literally all over the internet, and that is Microsoft closing several different studios. Now, I just want to say here that it is not surprising to me that this is happening. Why? Because Microsoft is a $3 trillion company, and quite frankly, compared to Nintendo and Sony, Microsoft literally gets the shit end of the stick basically every time. I will tell you that there is a double standard in the gaming industry, especially amongst journalists or so-called journalists, where Nintendo and Sony can do something and the backlash is not as significant than if Microsoft were to do something. I mean, people can say what they want, but I'm not blind. I've been following this industry for like 20 plus years. I know what I'm talking about. So, so what I want to just kind of share here is, so if I were to go and type in Microsoft, like Xbox news, right? We go to news. This is basically what pops up for me. Okay. So going through here, you can see most of the news surrounding, game studios being closed, people leaving or getting fired. Double Fine acknowledges shutdown talks. That was kind of interesting because they took to their actual, I guess, Twitter or whatever, and I saw it was like a little smiley face. I thought it was kind of really in poor taste. Xbox is also closing down Hellblade creator Ninja Theory. So there's a lot of things that is going on that people may not understand. So let me try to demystify this for people. Microsoft, at the end of the day, like I said, is a $1 trillion company, and they are doing a restructuring, top to down, and the focus is the gaming division, Xbox. Some of you may have heard that Microsoft, I've seen reports of them. I've seen reports of other people claiming that Microsoft is looking to spin off the Xbox brand into something else, which is absolute bullshit. This is just another issue of people wanting to be first and not being accurate. I see that all the time, but there is something to be said that from the article in question, Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, has stated, and I'm paraphrasing this, that Xbox has to become profitable. Basically, it has to bring in money. It can't just keep bleeding money. And one of the reasons why I believe Xbox has been bleeding money is because Xbox has been subsidizing various game studios that they have acquired, and those studios really haven't earned their keep. Let's just I'm keeping it fucking real. Double Fine Studios, for instance, they're the ones that came out with the game called Psychonauts, right? 1 and 2. Now, Psychonauts 2, to my understanding, I might be a little bit off, the game sold about 1.4, maybe 1.6 million copies, a decent amount. After that, they ended up making a game called what's the name of this game? Lighthouse. Like something Lighthouse or some shit like that. I played the game. In fact, I even streamed the game. I don't remember I beat. I got pretty far, but I will probably link that in this particular video. So I've played the game. It's not like I haven't played it. It was a good little atmospheric game, but it definitely wasn't anything that was going to set the world on fire. And then, one of the more recent game shows, video game shows that came out, they brought out a game called Kiln. I can't even pronounce the fucking name. It's like KLN. It's like you're creating pottery and you're using the things you created to do some sort of like Plants versus Zombies combat. I when I first saw it, you know, I thought to myself, self, this is going to be a very niche game. It's going to be something that's very, like, not many people's going to buy this. Not many people's going to be invested in this. And, I don't know how much money they're spending on it, but whatever it is, they're likely not going to make it back. So you can look at it more as a passion project. And then you have a couple of other companies that Microsoft are looking to kind of get rid of. They're kind of in a similar boat. Now what I feel is most important in trying to educate some of you that might be in this live stream, or those of you that will watch this particular segment after the live, what you guys have to understand is simply this: when you have a company that is being closed, when you have a company that's being closed, oh, okay, yeah, thank you. It's called Keeper. That's the name of the game. But anyway, let me get back on track here. If a studio is being closed, that does not mean that every single person is fired. That's not what that means. Most times, not all, but in most cases, and this applies to Sony, this applies to Nintendo, if you have a studio closing, the company, let's say in this situation, Double Fine Studios, they're closing. Microsoft is not going to get rid of every single person. Microsoft are going to salvage a few people from that entire development studio and just reassign them to different departments, because they still are viable game developers, in various different positions and knowledge of expertise. So it's not like, okay, we're getting rid of Double Fine, every single last one of you, don't let the door hit you in the ass. That's not how this works. Some people may be moved over to work on maybe Halo. Some might be moved over to work on Fable. That's how this works. Now, does that mean everybody will be salvaged? No. But across corporate America and just companies in general, that's what happens. If you are an asset by the parent company, they will find another use for you. That's what that means. A lot of times, the reason why these companies are, or should I say these studios, close is because you have people within that studio, they have a uniformed way of doing things. They have a uniformed mission on what they want to create. In the case of Double Fine, they came out with the game Keeper that I earlier referenced as Lighthouse, because that just shows you how insignificant the game was. So the game was called Keeper. You had the other one, the more recent one, the Pottery one. These are games that were not going to move the needle. They were basically passion projects. However, from an artistic standpoint, they were viable games, but from a financial standpoint, they were just, it was just a waste of time and waste of resources. I hate, if you're a fan of those games, I'm just giving the harsh, cold reality. So with Double Fine closing, that basically brings an end to those particular style of games that is being gestated within that company, within that culture. Hopefully that makes sense. It's almost like you're breaking it all up and you dissolve the company. But the people that remain, as I said before, and I'll reiterate it, some of those people will find themselves shifted to other development studios under the umbrella of Xbox, of Xbox. That's how this works. Sony does it. Nintendo does it. Every company does it. That's just how it works. Now, for those people that may not find a home at another studio within Xbox, they still have their experiences. They still have their achievements, and I have little doubt that they will be unemployed for long. You know, they may go and work for Nintendo, or they might work for Capcom. That's how this works. So whenever you hear a studio being closed, I believe that the typical gamer, they make more of it than they should because they don't understand. Now, of course, it kind of sucks. You know, it's not like something to rejoice, but there are some people that are, and I'm going to get into that right now. Some of these companies, and I've seen online, they are basically applauding Asha Sharma because they are believing that many of these games, these studios, are filled with DEI, woke, agenda laden slop. Now, whether or not that is true, I'm not going to really get into that. I have my own personal opinion on that. But to think that DEI and certain agendas in gaming don't exist, that just lets me know that you're very naive and you don't know about this industry. These things do exist. DEI in this particular circumstance does exist. And some of these companies do push this shit. They do. So I believe ultimately Asha Sharma is looking to uh basically just look at every single studio and see, are you a net positive to our bottom line? What are you currently working on? Is it going to move the needle? If we don't think so, we're probably going to close you down. Thank you for your service. Take care. If we have additional positions that can benefit, we will extend them to you. If not, we will give you a good reference. And I also have heard that Microsoft is also offering some of these people severance packages as well. So, you know, it's just something that people, or should I say gamers, have to realize that your hobby, the thing that you grew up with as a child, this is a business. This is big business. And I believe that if many of you understand that, then I think that the faster you come to that realization, the better. Now, of course, depending on the studio and what they've done in the past, that might earn them a little bit more latitude to do different things, a few more chances at bat, so to speak. However, if I'm being perfectly honest, when I looked at the Double Fine studio, and I knew about them for a long time with their Psychonauts 1 for the I think it was the original Xbox many years ago. I was like, okay, I never played the game, but it looked entertaining. I played the second game. I actually liked it. I haven't played it in a few years, but I believe when you go from that particular game, Psychonauts 2, to Keeper and some pottery looking game, and the years in between that it took to make these games, and the amount of money that it probably took to create them, you have to look at it from Microsoft's standpoint. It's like, why are we keeping you around? What have you done? I felt like that also with a company called Rare. I actually remember when Microsoft first bought Rare. I was I was I was much younger, and there's an old saying where you might forget someone's name, but you don't forget how they made you feel. And I gotta admit, when I saw some of Rare's other games, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like Rare has so many different IPs that they've worked on over the years. And I would have liked to have seen them make up-to-date versions of some of those games. And instead, I just remember like it might have been like Sea of Thieves. I wasn't really high on. It was like whatever. It's been around for a while, but still, it really wasn't something I was interested in. And I felt like, I just felt like they could do more as well. So I don't know what's going to happen with them. And then the other situation with Ninja Theory. Now, this is an interesting one. The only reason why people are even bringing up Ninja Theory is because they announced Hellblade 3, or I don't know, the way they name the game doesn't make much sense to me. They're calling it Senua, whatever. We know what the fucking game is. So, apparently the game was announced 8 or 9 days prior, and now they just learned, I think on an earnings call, or maybe that might have been Double Fine. I don't have the notes in front of me, that they're going to be closing down. So people are wondering, well, what's going to happen with the game. So let me just kind of give you a very brief breakdown on how this works in the video game industry. If any one of you, probably like 5 of you in the chat right now, if any one of you are in the middle of creating a game, and then you later find out that your studio is set to basically be you know torn down, sent out of business, whatever, what you as the studio can do, you can make an attempt to buy back your independence, kind of like, or your IP. You could do that. You could shop around for somebody else to become your publisher. You can do that as well. If those things do not happen, Microsoft can legally cancel your game, or you can go and make the game, but Microsoft will hold the rights to the game and they can basically shelf the game. There's been situations like that happening in the movie industry where a studio will make a movie, but then the distribution, like Warner Brothers or Lionsgate or some other company like that, will literally place your movie in the fucking warehouse, and it's just going to gather dust for years. So that's also something else that can happen. So it's not an end all be all, but it is a situation that gamers, I don't expect many of you to understand this part of the business, but that's typically what happens when a studio is set to be closed while they have a game in the oven that's slowly cooking. Now I am interested to see what's going to happen, because I know that Hellblade has not been like it has not been an overwhelming success, but it's not a bad game either. And at this point, you could probably call it a franchise at this point. So I have seen some people that have stated that they would love for that studio to go back to Sony. People have said they would love to see a new Heavenly Sword, because they're the ones that created Heavenly Sword. I think it was for PS3, or I think it was PlayStation 3. And but there's a lot of things that has to happen first before that happens. It is possible for them to still come out with Hellblade 3, or whatever they choose to call it, Senua 3, and that could just be officially their final game for Xbox, Microsoft. They could do that. Because I know that they are, based on what I know now, those Double Fine and a couple other, I think Ninja Theory, they are in active negotiations. Obviously, Double Fine for different reasons, but Ninja Theory, I feel that they have a better chance to work something out with Asha Sharma and her leadership, because I can tell you, if I had to take a guess, if I had to take an option between Hellblade 3 and whatever the fuck Double Fine was making, I'm going with Hellblade. So that's something that I believe is a good factor because Hellblade, especially with what they shown off at, I think it was the either Xbox's show or the Summer Games Fest, Hellblade 3 is looking pretty good. The game is a little bit more open. It's a little bit more of an open world. They said that there's going to be more exploration, more combat, more weapons. So the game does look to be pretty good. So they could find themselves in a situation where it's like, hey, give us one last shot. We're already making the game. We have a pretty good idea of our release time. So at least let us do that. Let us complete it. And then if you guys still want to close this down, well, whatever. I can see them doing that. But when it comes to Double Fine, their last two games, just looking at it from an executive standpoint, the pottery game, Kiln, whatever this, it's a dumbass name, I can't pronounce it right, and Keeper, those games has done nothing positive for Double Fine. Nothing. What Double Fine should have done, and this is something that I would urge any development studio do, if you have a game that has had some form of traction, in Double Fine's case, that is Psychonauts, what you should have done is go for Psychonauts 3. Have that in the pipeline. And then if you want to do your little okey doke, your little rinky dink art style passion project, fine. But at least you have something that can be considered a bit of a moneymaker. But the fact that their last two games were just hokey, niche, artistic passion projects, that's not going to earn you, that's not going to curry any favor amongst the executives of Xbox. It's just not. So if I had to put my money on something, I would say that Ninja Theory is a little bit better off in terms of trying to have some positive negotiations with Microsoft, or should I say Xbox, at present time. I can see something working out there, but Double Fine, no. But anyway, I hope that this has become clear that, again, just because a company is the publisher is shutting your studio down, it doesn't outright mean that your entire thing is done. It doesn't mean that. So hopefully that is clear. Hopefully people will understand that, because I know a lot of gamers, they may not understand this, and I do my best on my channel to to kind of explain that, because in my experience, especially being on Twitter, I see a lot of gamers, they're very passionate about what they like, but they really don't understand this part of the business. So I do what I can to kind of share my experience on that front, because that is big news. Microsoft closing a lot of studios. It's no secret that Microsoft has a lot of money lost. People blame Game Pass. They're saying all manner of things that are really not true. I've seen people like Smash JT. There's a few times where I've agreed with him, but there's others where I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this guy is talking about. I think I commented on one of his tweets. He said that with something about the game studios closing, this shows that Game Pass is cooked. And I think I replied and I said, what does Microsoft closing down studios has to do with Game Pass? Please expatiate upon that point on why you say Game Pass is cooked, because Microsoft is closing down a few studios that were not net positives. Elaborate. Obviously, he has not responded to me because I'm not big enough in the scene, I guess, but it is what it is. Most of the time I may be a small channel, but I would probably lap circles around 70% of the people I've seen on Twitter that have large followings. It's actually kind of wild to me that people are this foolish and ignorant and speaking on matters they have no idea about. It's very annoying. I can tell you that much. Um, so the thing with the whole Game Pass situation, real quick, it has come out that because of the increase in price with the Game Pass, when they raised one tier, only one tier, to $30, everybody got fucking fake outrage. Everybody was losing their shit, and apparently a lot of people canceled their membership or whatever. Typical nonsense, but it is what it is. So Asha and her team brought the price of that down, and people have slowly have funneled back. So just to be clear, Microsoft closing these studios has fuck all to do with Game Pass. That's an entirely separate thing. Also, another thing on Game Pass that people don't really understand is that even with Microsoft having you as a studio under their umbrella, Microsoft is still compensating those development studios. So, for instance, the person, let's say Team Cherry, that is the development studio that made Hollow Knight Silksong. Hollow Knight Silksong being on Game Pass, Microsoft has compensated Team Cherry to have that game on Game Pass. And they've also afforded them other incentives as well. When a game is on Game Pass, it's not like Microsoft just doesn't give them nothing. Like, it's just wild that there are people out there that think this. So people will say, oh, well, if it's on Game Pass, not making any money. Like, these are people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I've seen this time and time again. They are speaking on things they have no inkling about. There are times I feel like just saying, just stick to pressing your buttons and swiping your debit card. Leave these discussions to people who know what they're talking about. Then people will say, oh, well, Microsoft, they spent 68 something billion dollars to gain access to Activision Blizzard. Call of Duty lost about $300 million or so. And I saw all those headlines too. First of all, just to reiterate this, while I'm on the topic of Microsoft went after Activision Blizzard, not for Call of Duty. It can give two shits about Call of Duty. They went after Activision Blizzard to go after King Studios, which are the creators of Candy Crush. That is the primary reason why Microsoft went after Activision Blizzard. But it's funny, even to this day, people still have in their mind that, oh, it was Call of Duty. And I'm like, Microsoft could care less. It's like Call of Duty was like the cherry on the sundae. It's like if you have a full course meal and you get a free dessert. That's what Call of Duty was for that particular deal. Because at the time of that deal, Call of Duty wasn't even really, it was not in its best in its best way. If I'm not mistaken, around that time, I think Call of Duty Vanguard was out. I can't be, I'm not the Call of Duty expert, but I think that's what the Call of Duty game that was out at the time. I could be wrong, but regardless, it was around the time that Call of Duty as a brand was not like, oh my God, like it's Call of Duty. No. So, but there are a lot of people in the industry that believe that. There's just so many people that believe so many things that are not true. They don't have the facts. They don't understand what they're reading, what they're pitching. And it's just wild to me, getting back to the whole studio closure situation. This is not going to be the end. Microsoft is going to, or should I say Xbox, it is going to be a bloodbath. By the time the dust settles on this, there is going to be a lot of studios that will be looked at very hard. And I can tell you right now, this is how it's going to be. Microsoft is going to look at you as a studio and say, what are you currently working on? What is the forecast release of your title? That's what they want to know. Is this game going to make money? Realistically, hard choices are going to be made. Hard decisions, excuse me. There was somebody on my Twitter that basically said to me in a tweet that I'm a very what's the word? Let me just show. Hold on, let me show it, because this guy was kind of going back and forth with me a while. Let me just show this. Let me go back to my Twitter and show you what I mean real quick. So one of them, I think it was, oh, here he is, this guy right here, Connor Kirby. He says, my replies read like CEO's morning affirmations. So I was kind of going back and forth with this guy for a while, and that's why I said that's good, because I'm a 40-year gamer who actually understands this business more than the average gamer, and quite frankly, there are too many who speak on matters they know little to nothing about. When it comes to my industry, it's annoying. It is very annoying. It's highly annoying, because it's something that I deal with quite often. Even with this one, if I go to this one, right? I forgot who I was. Oh, the same guy. I basically said, sir, gaming is a business at the end of the day. And while these Steam numbers mean little to me as a gamer, as I play on Series X, they do serve as a barometer. If a company is not a net positive, they are subject for closure. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. And then he says, oh, arguing that is not the same as implying that you can assess a game's worth in being made with metrics that only exist if it has been made. Looking at the player count of a game and then saying, who could have thought this was a good idea, is implying a world of false assumptions. Okay. But yes, understanding profit and loss. So I said, as a fan, you can afford to be emotional. As an executive, you cannot. Like, these people, and this is no disrespect to this gentleman here, but there are people that just don't get it. They don't understand. This is why I say, and I know it sounds fucked up, I know it sounds fucked up, that people just they just know how to press buttons. I can make that determination simply by reading a person's comment or a tweet. I can tell when you really don't know what you're talking about. And it's more so going off of either being a fanboy or you're being overly emotionally attached to a particular thing. This being a particular studio. There was another studio, in fact, I forgot. They were making the game. Was it Double Fine? I don't think it was Double Fine either. I think it was the studio that made South of Midnight. That was another game. I'm hearing reports that game cost $100 million to make, if you can believe that. I can't confirm or deny that, but that is the current numbers I've been hearing. And you can bet your ass that that game did not even break even. Now, I have yet to play that game myself. I thought about giving it a try. It's in Game Pass, but you know, something's always come up. I'm playing a bajillion different other games. I'm a personal trainer. I deal with this channel, the live streaming, so my time is limited. But if those rumors are true, and South of Midnight it cost Microsoft basically $100 million to help get that project off the ground with the marketing, all that stuff. And that game I'm pretty confident that game did not break even. I'm pretty sure. Am I surprised the studio responsible for that game is subject for closure? No, I'm not. Also, another thing is that games like those, if I'm not mistaken, they were infiltrated by a consulting group called Sweet Baby Inc. as well. And, it's just it's just one of those things that you might find yourself asking, why are why are some game development budgets so bloated, so expensive? If you look at the upcoming God of War Lao Fei for PlayStation, I'm willing to wager the development costs of that game is going to be above 100 million. That's easy, because from what I remember off the top of my head, for instance, God of War 2018 was about 44 million budget, or something of that nature, and I believe God of War Ragnarok was like 100 something, 120. So the upcoming Lao Fei game that I believe Santa Monica Studios is looking to replace Kratos. I haven't really made an official video on it yet, but I might speak about that later and kind of go deeper into that. But yeah, if that game doesn't do the numbers that it needs, that's going to put Santa Monica Studios in some trouble. However, they have curried goodwill and favor amongst Sony. So basically, they could afford to have a fuck up. But again, getting back to the Double Fine company, when your last two games was a pottery game and a game about a lighthouse, that doesn't really instill much confidence from Microsoft's point of view. And then also you got the South of Midnight game, which again cost estimated allegedly 100 million. I can guarantee they did not even break even. Again, a game like that does not curry a lot of favor, especially with Microsoft is looking to prioritize. I mean, let's face it, they are going to prioritize Forza Horizon specifically, Gears, Halo, Fable to a degree, I would say. And I believe that they're giving Fable a little bit of latitude, given the fact that Playground Games, the ones that made Forza Horizon, they're the ones that's overseeing the project. So that's giving them a lot of leeway in that regard, for people to, hopefully you understand that. It's like if you just take yourself, if you're working at a job and you're new on the job and your performance isn't measuring up, do you really think they're going to keep you? I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Now, if you've been at that job for a period of time, you've demonstrated some moments where you were outstanding, you got recommendations, awards, whatever, you can afford to have a bad day. It's the same thing when it comes to this gaming shit. For some reason, a lot of you gamers out there, you guys can't seem to get through your skull that this is a business. You guys look at gaming in such a way that it has to be the only industry that I know of that a grown adult is not looking at it as a business. It's like I see it. I see it in the videos. I see it in the comment section. I see it in the tweets. You have grown men and grown women that cannot come to the realization that this is a multi-billion-dollar industry and these companies are here to make money. And if those studios are not a net positive and they have not, curried favor, they haven't demonstrated something viable, then you are going to be on the chopping block. Now, there are some odd scenarios where you had a company called Tango Gameworks. This one I have to admit, this one bothered me a bit, because for those unaware, I believe that was the one that did that game called Hi-Fi Rush, which I'll admit I've not played the game yet. I do owe it to myself to play it. But more importantly for me, they are the ones that came out with Evil Within 1 and Evil Within 2. Two games. Well, I played all of part 1. I messed around with part 2. Maybe I'll stream it someday. But even I don't know exactly why Microsoft pulled the plug on them. It could be maybe the games didn't do as good that, I see that then it becomes a situation where I have to separate my own feelings, which I can, where I loved Evil Within 1 and 2. And many people I know, in fact, I think Hi-Fi Rush took the game industry by storm, at least in terms of visibility and attention. But maybe behind the scenes, maybe those games just didn't meet certain financial quotas. Maybe it didn't meet the projected quarterly expectations. Maybe, I don't know. But sometimes you have to look at it from their point of view. You can love a particular game and you might have gone out and bought that game, but in the grander scheme of things, it was a failure. It was a commercial flop. And one of the great examples I can give is Dragon Age: The Veilguard. I've spoken about this game many times on my channel. I own Dragon Age Veilguard. Believe me, I'm well aware of all of the controversies surrounding it. And while I do love the combat of the game, I love the graphics, I think the game has phenomenal music. A lot of people don't even know that Hans motherfucking Zimmer is the one that actually composed the soundtrack for Dragon Age: The Veilguard. I don't think many people even know this. I mean, hell, all you gotta do is just listen to the intro theme music of that game. That is music that a regular game soundtrack, like, there are levels to this shit. So even if you may not like Dragon Age: The Veilguard, listen to that intro theme. That music is fucking godlike. Why? Because it was made by Hans Zimmer. So even that caught me off guard when I first learned of it. But I say all this to say this. At the end of the day, even though there are aspects of Veilguard that I enjoy, I am under no illusion that game absolutely flopped commercially for reasons. I am able to separate my feelings as a gamer from my knowledge and experience as a businessman that is very well versed in the gaming industry. Many gamers can't do that. They'll say, "Hey, I like this game. I love this game. I play it every day. Why is this studio being closed?" To go back to the Double Fine situation, if you're one of the 5 people on the internet that likes the game called Keeper, and you played that game, like, you probably got 100 hours in that game, and then you find out that the studio is closing, and you're like, well, why is it closing? That particular person, they can't see past their own interests. They cannot. They can't see past the fact that, yes, I enjoy the game Keeper, but it didn't really move the needle. It didn't move the needle at all. They can't, a lot of people can't do that. So yeah, man. Just to kind of bring this all in, Microsoft, you are going to hear more studio closings. You're going to hear more, because Microsoft is essentially doing what is called an all hands on deck. They are going through every single one of their acquired studios one by one, and they're meeting with each of the department heads of those studios, and they're looking, what have you not announced? What are you working on? What is your projected release? What style of game is this? And they're going to weigh whether or not that game is going to move the needle financially. What are their sales expectations? This is all corporate shit. I am literally giving you motherfuckers here in the stream like business 101 right now. Like I'm dead ass. This is exactly what people like Asha Sharma do, and Phil Spencer before her. They literally call likely a Zoom call or whatever, or have them come in from wherever the fuck they're traveling from. Be like, hey, on this day, we need all hands on deck. Every single department head from every single company, we need you in the office. Or to make it easier, a Zoom call. And they're going to address every single person and say, hey, what are you working on? What's your time frame? What style of game it is? And they're going to make that decision. What is the current budget? How much money have we spent on this project so far? How close to completion is this? They're looking at all of this shit. Asha Sharma is looking to trim the fat off of Xbox. Satya Nadella has gone on record, and if I really wanted to kind of go and do my little research, and I could probably, you know what? Hold, let me see if I can find the article. Let me see if I can just find the article in real time. Let's see. Let's type up Satya Nadella, right? Okay, Satya Nadella. Why is it not autofilling? Oh God. Let me just put it. Let me see. Nadella speaking about the future of Xbox. This should pop up. Okay. There we go. Here we go. Let's look at GeekWire's article. So he says it right here. Satya Nadella on Xbox, quote, "We have to turn this into a sustainable business." Okay, here's a video here. I don't know how long this video is. Let me see if I can get to a quote. Okay, let me see. Let's see if we can get to the nitty gritty here. Okay, so he signals an upcoming reset. No one can accuse Microsoft of not having invested for the last 25 years of Xbox and games business. And now we have to turn this into a sustainable business. For all the entertainment value Xbox provides, Microsoft hasn't been monetizing that entertainment and has actually been subsidizing it, he added with a chuckle. In fact, there's more monetization of Xbox games happening on YouTube than at Microsoft. Earlier in the day, Xbox CEO Asha Sharma had told employees in a memo that the division's heavy spending and declining revenue cannot continue. What does that mean, people? That means I am going to go scorched earth, and I'm going to grill each and every... It's basically what I just said. She is going to contact every development head of every studio, and she is going to ask those tough questions that those creative directors and those movers and shakers of those studios, like Double Fine, like Ninja Theory, are going to have to answer her. Anyway, let me continue. Sharma, about 100 days into the job, said Xbox will finish the fiscal year at roughly a 3% margin by an internal Microsoft measure after the company spent more than $20 billion over 5 years, even as annual revenue fell. That basically goes right back to what Satya Nadella says, that, you know, we're basically subsidizing it. That's basically what it is. And so because of because of this whole thing, there are people that are coming up with their own fucking narrative saying that, oh, Microsoft is looking to sell off the brand. There is nothing there that I just read directly from the main guy that says that. But anyway, let's continue on. Maybe there's more. Let me scroll on down. Here we go. On the podcast, Nadella described two pressures on the business. One is temporary, a run-up in prices driven by the shortage of semiconductors and memory, or RAM. Since for those of you that are unaware, RAM has basically gone up between 2 and 300% year over year. I want you people to understand that. That is the primary reason why you have an increase of price for 6-year-old hardware. I spent $705 on my new Xbox Series X, and a large portion of that was gifted to me by some very good subscribers and channel members I have. But at the end of the day, we're seeing 6-year-old consoles that have gone up in price. And even Nintendo, the scumbag company that they are going to increase the price of their Switch 2 by $50 come September. And they've also gone on record in saying that even that's not enough. So best believe they're going to raise that again. So anyway, let's get on back to the article. Memory, which is squeezing PCs, phones, and other consumer electronics, and which he said Microsoft will get through. The other is lasting. The question of what the Xbox business model should be going forward. He says, I think we have to find ways to deliver the games in which it's economically relevant for the customer and for us, Nadella said. When Newton asked whether he could offer any sort of carrot for gamers or whether consoles and games would simply get more expensive, Nadella didn't detail what the new model would look like. Sharma said in her memo that she'll spend the next 100 days taking what she called a fresh look at the business. That's corporate speak for I'm going to thin the herd and trim the fat. That's what that basically means. The information reported Friday that Microsoft hasn't ruled out restructuring Xbox, potentially as a wholly owned subsidy, a joint venture, or a spinoff, though it has no imminent plans to do so. The outlet, citing 3 people with direct knowledge, said Sharma plans to pair layoffs with heavier investment in big franchises like Halo and Fallout, a plan Nadella and CFO Amy Hood have signed off on. So basically, to kind of decipher that a little bit, she says it right there that they are going to focus on franchises like Halo and Fallout. And that will include Gears of War. That will include Forza Horizon. That will include Fable. Why? Because Playground Games with Forza Horizon 6, they've basically caught lightning in a bottle yet again. That's because Elder Scrolls is a massive franchise, but it's probably not going to come out anytime soon, so they're probably going to be trying to force out Fallout a little bit faster. In fact, I saw a report that said that Microsoft is looking to light a fire under Bethesda's ass to get them to release Fallout a little bit faster, or Elder Scrolls, as well as the people that's working on Halo, which I believe they are, because Halo, I believe, is coming out toward the end of July. So when you factor in everything that I've just stated, this is basically corporal speak. We are going to trim the fat. We are basically subsidizing, which basically is a fancy word of we're not really profiting the way we should be. It's not that we're not bringing it. And see, this is where people need to understand this. And hopefully you guys are still here on the live stream, and you guys at home that's going to watch this after the fact. It's not that Microsoft is not bringing in money from these games. They are. The problem is when your profit is being destroyed by bloated development costs and games that, quite frankly, are really a net negative. it's going to make the money that you do bring in seem kind of like passe, kind of like, oh, whatever. Now, once you trim that fat, now you're going to start to see those benefits, that profit more clearly. Because if you factor in all of the studios that Microsoft has, which I believe is upwards of like 20, maybe 30 studios, if I'm not mistaken, if only 5 or 6 of them are really earning and everybody else is just kind of doing their own little fucking passion projects, so we're just funneling money to you, overall, Microsoft Xbox division as a whole is going to be appearing like it's not making money, and Microsoft, the parent company, is going to be essentially subsidizing. Meaning it's like I'm giving you money and I'm not seeing much from it. I'm giving you money to enable you to make me more money. But if I'm just giving you money and I'm not seeing nothing coming back, that's the different, that's like me pissing in the wind. That's like me throwing money down the drain. So that's really what that comes down to. So by getting rid of a lot of these other whatever companies, these studios, while it might be fucked up for them economically and job-wise, this is something that companies across the world, this is what they do on a daily basis. It's corporate restructuring. They have to trim that fat so that they can start to become profitable in the way they need to be. That's how this works. But a lot of gamers, they just, this goes over their head. It just does. It's fucked up for me to say it, but you know, it is what it is. So, but I think that's really all I can say on the matter. I've addressed the CEO aspect. I've addressed the studio situation. There will be more studios that will be going through this process, best believe. I think that's about it. So hopefully some of this mattered to you guys. Hopefully you've gained some more insight. You have a better understanding. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be covering this in a future video because, like I said, this is not Double Fine and Ninja Theory are not going to be only studios. In the coming days and weeks, you're going to hear other studios that's going to be on the chopping block. You're going to hear it. This is basically scorched earth. And sometimes you need to destroy. Sometimes you need to destroy so that you can rebuild. It's kind of hard to build on a very shaky foundation. You have to get rid of that shaky foundation first, get down to the concrete, and then build up from there. That is what Microsoft, or should I say the Xbox brand, is currently doing right now. And if anybody has any sort of business acumen, you will understand that. If you're just the tried and true typical gamer, then everything I'm saying is probably going to be very boring. It's going to be gone all over the top of your head. You're going to feel some sort of way personally, or you're probably not even going to fucking watch this video, one or the other. But at the end of the day, this is where the real business happens. This is the real shit. This is where it all begins and ends. Decisions on whether to greenlight a project or not, whether to continue with a project. And you know what? Fuck it. While I'm here, I'm gonna end off with this. There was another game that was set to come out by a development studio called Platinum Games, and it was called Scalebound. Does anybody remember that game? Does everybody remember that Phil Spencer was thrown under the bus for canceling that game by typical ignorant gamers? Ignorant is not stupid, just means a lack of awareness and a lack of understanding. A lot of gamers I seen were criticizing Phil Spencer's decision on Scalebound, but here's what many of you probably are not aware of, is that Xbox and Microsoft specifically was, to use the word, subsidizing the development the development process of Scalebound. Platinum Games had over 6 years to develop a basic third-person action game. 6 years. And Microsoft pumped millions and millions of dollars into that project. And you know what they got out of it? Nothing. Now, does the average gamer knows this? Of course not. Fuck no. Why would they? People like me know this, because this is what I do. This is what I spend my time learning and researching. Microsoft pumped millions of dollars into the development process of Scalebound. And along the way, Phil Spencer and his team was contacting Platinum Games, asking for frequent updates. When are you going to show off the game? This, that, and the other. And one time they ended up showing the game. I forgot which game show. It might have been Microsoft show. It could have been something else. Could have been Gamescom. But what I do remember was the action that I saw was horrific. It was horrific. There was dozens of clipping issues. The frame rate was abysmal, and the gameplay was very uninspired. And the graphics were looked like something that should have came out years prior. Shortly after that, Microsoft pulled the plug, and then the news got out, and all of the so-called gaming journalists, which are really PC and PlayStation fanboys that have an axe to grind against Microsoft, they were throwing Microsoft and Phil Spencer under the bus for canceling Scalebound. I never forgot that. And this is very relevant because I'm seeing almost the same thing happen. When you have a game that is quite frankly not moving the needle, you are going to be subject to closing. And I will say that Phil Spencer, he gave Platinum Games every single opportunity. At some point in time, when are you going to just say enough is enough? That's actually part of the reason, just to kind of touch base on this, that's part of the reason why I was concerned when Team Ninja, because they were focusing and prioritizing on the Neo franchise, they gave the development duties of Ninja Gaiden 4 to Platinum Games. And all people could remember about that studio is Bayonetta, but I, however, remember Scalebound and how they fucked up on that. So that caused me to have a lot of concern about Ninja Gaiden 4, which those concerns were allayed because the game ended up, in my opinion, to be a very good action game. But I did have my concerns, and they were justified at the time. But anyway, I think I'm going to get out of here and close out this segment. So I appreciate anybody that will watch this segment after I post this. I appreciate those of you that's currently in the live stream right now that was listening to me yap. Hopefully you guys learned something. I will no doubt speak more about this and in the coming days and weeks to come. And with that being said, hopefully I have earned a few new subscribers, maybe and a few new channel members. Support the channel. I appreciate it. And with that, salute. I'm out of here. And that is a marker on that. Now, before I get to the whole Dead or Alive situation, I will go through the chat real quick. I'll scroll through it and I will see who said what, if who is still here, and all that, because the next thing I want to talk about is this Dead or Alive shit, because that shit is fucking that's a whole other can of worms right there. So I know I missed quite a few messages here. Let's see. First, let me see how many people is even in here. If there's it'd be funny if nobody's in the stream. Okay, there's a few people here. Okay, that's cool. All right. So everybody that is currently here, you know who you are. Hail. Salute. Hope all you guys are doing well. I see, or if they're here, Hyper Stark, 8304. I see Teach, Grandrelon, Void Watcher, Saint Mike, King Chronicles. Let me see. Okay, I guess that's all. That's kind of like chatting. Crypto God, Kazama. Who else? Let me see. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I got a lot to say about that whole the Dead or Alive. That shit is just wild. And yeah, I'm gonna need a good 20 to 30 minutes to rant about that. But yeah, there's been a lot of things that's been out that I just think that I think if people had more insight and people had more understanding, they would understand that, you know, this is a business, this is how things go. Let me see, what did this guy say? I don't think I recall seeing this guy says he's one of the, let me see. So this guy, King Chronicles, he says he's one of the people that canceled Game Pass. He doesn't need it. That's fine. A lot of people don't really understand the whole thing about Game Pass. Like, in fact, let me just say, I want to say this about Game Pass real quick. And I think this is very important for people to understand. When Microsoft came out with this whole $10 increase, a whopping 10 fucking dollars. Ooh, wow. I'm pretty sure everybody here in this chat spends $10 on some other meaningless shit over the course of a month. So that's why I was like, $10, give me a fucking break. But people raised hell about it. The funny thing is that with subscription services, Microsoft is not forcing anybody to stay subscribed. Microsoft doesn't say, hey, if you subscribe on January, you are locked into a 6-month ordeal. And if you want to be out prior, we're going to hit you with a termination contract fee. Microsoft doesn't do that. If you want to subscribe for January and unsubscribe on February or whatever, you are free to do that. If there is one particular game that you are playing on the Ultimate membership, which was $30, if that same game is a part of the premium tier, just get the premium membership. That's $15 fucking dollars. If it's not on the premium tier and it's only on the Ultimate, then why are you spending $30 to play that game? Just buy the game. So all of this ridiculous fake outrage from people that were bitching and complaining that Microsoft raised Game Pass prices, I'm like, bro, you people scammed yourselves. You people scammed yourself. Do you really think, honestly, to Netflix if I wasn't fucking watching that shit? Or if I was watching like one thing and after that thing is over, I'm going to keep them? Hell no. But many of you do that. So when I heard all of the talk about the Game Pass situation, I'm like, you people are aware that Microsoft has added a shit ton of games to the service. You are aware that the only tier that was increased was the Ultimate tier. The Essential and the Premium tier has been the same price. You are aware that Microsoft has augmented the cloud experience because best believe cloud and AI and subscription-based services are taking over. You don't have to love it, but that's what it is. Pretty soon, you're not going to find physical games anywhere unless you go to your fucking local GameStop. Well, they're soon to go out of business too. So these people that I've seen in my comment section that would be like, "Oh, I prefer to buy my physical games. I play on Xbox 360." That's your right, but the industry has literally left you behind. And if you're cool with that, you go and continue playing your old games, thank you. Thank you for your service. We as the industry are moving forward, and we are moving into subscription services, cloud, and AI. That is the future. That's what it is. You can bitch and moan about it all you want. That is the fact. That is the reality. There's far too much money in all three of those that every single company on planet Earth, unless something cataclysmic happens, that is your future as a gamer. You're going to see more AI shit in your game. It's going to happen. Some development studios are going to use it more than others, but it's going to be the new norm. It is what it is. Game Pass, subscription-based service, it's going to stick around. That's what it is. If you open your eyes and you look at if you look at how things are sold to you, Adobe Photoshop, Microsoft Office, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, even your printer ink. If you have even that's a subscription service. Like, every fucking thing is going in this direction. So it's just, to me, it's like people complaining about this. I'm like, bro, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. Like, it doesn't matter what you think, what you say, this is the future. Unless some crazy thing happens and it completely throws a monkey wrench in it, but I don't see that happening. So, and again, getting back to the whole Game Pass thing, people complaining about the price of it. I'm like, bro, like, you got tons of games. They have, while you're a Game Pass member, you actually have additional savings of the games that's in the tier that you're playing in under. So why all the bitching and complaining? Oh, if I spend it for 2 months, that's $60. Okay, well, then buy the game. If you bought the game, then you wouldn't have to worry about buying Game Pass now, would you? That's what I do. For the last few months, I have been on the premium tier. Not right now. Right now, I have an ultimate. But the last few months, I was on premium. Because most of the games that I wanted to play were on ultimate, but Microsoft has it to where about a year or so after, those games will get funneled down into the premium tier. Now there are some games on the ultimate that are not yet on premium that I would love to play, which is Ninja Gaiden 4, what's the other one? Marvel Cosmic Invasion, and a few others. But if I know that this is what I want to play, if I see those games on sale, then I should just go out and just buy the game. Like, for instance, I think recently Ninja Gaiden 4 on Game Pass was about $41.99 on sale. So if I would have took advantage of that sale and spent it'll probably be about $46 with tax, then that means that's one less reason for me to maintain a Game Pass Ultimate subscription. I could just stay with the premium, to be perfectly honest. That's how you do it. Now, if I don't do it that way, and I'm actively playing Ninja Gaiden 4 month after month after month, after 3 months, I have already pumped $90 into that. I could have took that same $90 and probably bought Ninja Gaiden 4 outright and had money left over. This is what people don't think. There are grown men and grown women that don't want to take responsibility for really using their money responsibly. Like I've used this example. If you go to Dunkin' Donuts, which from a fitness standpoint, I don't recommend to watch your calories, but just to use a simple example, if you go to Dunkin' Donuts and you buy a dozen donuts and you only eat 3 donuts, what was the fucking point of you buying a dozen if you know you only like 3 specific donuts? Wouldn't it make more sense to just buy those donuts by themselves? But that's not what people do. They will go and buy the highest tier of Game Pass, which at the time was $30, play like 1 or 2 games, probably Call of Duty, for instance, and then after 3 months, they're realizing, oh shit, with tax, I just spent over $100. Yeah, maybe you could have just spent $76 and change, and you could have bought that Call of Duty Black Ops 7 instead of fucking renting it essentially perpetually month after month, since that's the only reason why you're having Game Pass Ultimate. But people don't think like that. See, with me, if I know that the majority of the games that I'm going to be playing are games that are on my premium tier, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm just going to either downgrade to my premium tier, or I will play something that I own. That's it. If I see Marvel Cosmic Invasion on sale, because right now I believe it's $29.99, if I see that game on sale and I'm able to, I'm just going to buy that game. That's one piece, that's one chess piece off the board. One less reason for me to buy an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, unless I just want to do it and I got the money to spare. But if I'm, if money is tight, I'll happily downgrade. But I don't think people think like that. And that's the problem. So the problem wasn't so much the price of Game Pass. It was really just the fact that people they don't want to acknowledge that they're fucked up with their own money. And they want to blame a $10 price increase. Like Netflix doesn't increase their prices every other fucking month. Like, come on, everybody increases prices. That's the world we live in. But at least Microsoft did add in a lot of fucking games. They augmented the cloud functionality. They made it more stable. They made it faster to link. They made it so that you can stream or cloud stream your games at 1440p. Many people don't even know this on the Ultimate tier. They make it sound, if you didn't know no better, they make it sound like, oh, Microsoft is charging us an extra $10 and ain't giving us shit. That's a lie. Oh, there's nothing on Game Pass I want to play. I find that hard to believe because Game Pass Ultimate right now has over 500 games that you can play. So you mean to tell me there's not one game in there that you're not interested in? Get the fuck out of here. I'm going to call cap on you being a fucking gamer. Real shit. Game Pass Ultimate has over 500 games you can fuck with. So if I hear somebody saying, "Oh, they ain't there, there's nothing on Game Pass I want to play," get the fuck out of here. I completely dismiss anything that person has to say from that point on. At that point, I've already tuned you out. I have tuned you out. I'm being honest. Take it how you wish. Game Pass Premium has a little over 400 games that you can play. The lowest tier, I think, is approaching 100. I remember at one point, Game Pass Essential, which is the lowest tier, had 27 games. You know what it has now? Upwards of 70. So Microsoft has increased increased games across all the tiers, but
people bitched and complained, oh, we don't want to play 10, we don't want to pay 10 more dollars. All right. So we're going to lower the price down to $22.99. You happy now? Here's your lollipop. Here. Like, it's just ridiculous to me. It's just fucking ridiculous. But it is what it is. These are the people, unfortunately, that exist on Twitter, especially. And now they're bitching and complaining that Microsoft is cutting out the fucking fat by trying to get to a point where we're going to focus on the IPs that are making money, like any other company would and has done. So imagine knowing what I know. As the great Thanos once said, being cursed with knowledge. That's me. So with me being cursed with a plethora of game industry knowledge and experience, and coming across dozens upon dozens upon dozens of people on Twitter that are basically saying the equivalent of 2 + 2 is 45. It's like it's like nails down a chalkboard. I'm like, it's cringy as fuck. I want to just shut the fuck up and get off the internet. You're poisoning the minds of people that actually do want to learn some shit. It's annoying to me. It truly is annoying because it's like many of those same people are literally other content creators and influencers that just don't know jack shit. So it's the blind leading the blind. So that makes my job more difficult because I'll have a bunch of people that will come from those larger channels believing the nonsense of those people. They will come into my comment section or my stream and try to dictate to me on the shit that they barely even understand. That shit is hilarious. But sometimes it does get very annoying. I will be so honest with you. It is so annoying. It's like, oh my God. I feel like ramming my head through a brick wall. It's like I just feel like just go on your PlayStation, go on your $5,000 laptop, and just press buttons. Leave these topics to people that know what they're talking about. Or just ask questions. If you want to know, ask questions. Learn. Humble yourself. Leave the ego at the door and learn some shit. But people in the game space, there's too much ego. They don't want to acknowledge their own ignorance. They want to have a seat at this table, and they feel like they can banter with people like myself on these matters. And it's like, and this is just me just spitting off the top of my head. Just freestyling. I haven't even gone to any of my sources. I haven't even gone, I haven't typed up, I haven't researched anything. I haven't pulled up any data. This is just information off the top of my head. If I want to go the extra mile and make somebody look stupid, if they're trying to troll me, or then I might go the extra mile. But a lot of times I don't even feel like doing it because it's not even worth my effort. I'm coming to the realization, if people want to learn, they will do so. If they don't, if they choose to remain ignorant, that is on them. You cannot save everybody. And that's just something I have to learn. And I'm still not learn, but I have to accept that's the reality. Not everything is for everybody's understanding, and you can't save everybody. There are just some people that are just it just does not click for them. So that's just it. But that's all I have to say on that one. But at the end of the day, it's just very, very annoying because I think one of the better examples, just to kind of put myself on Front Street, just for people that might feel some sort of way, I love astronomy, like the study of the stars and outer planets and the galaxies and shit like that. I love that. I've been interested in that since I was a kid. And you know, I know of people like some of these people probably don't even know who the fuck I'm talking about. I like people like Michio Kaku. He's the author of String Theory. I love like Neil Tyson deGrasse. You know, I like this other guy. He's another astrophysicist. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. But people like Stephen Hawking, Make a Rest His Soul, and other people. I love shit like that. However, what I go through on Twitter talking about game industry business, it would be like me having the opportunity to meet Neil Tyson and try to dictate to him that he's wrong about matters of outer space. That's how as stupid as that sounds, that is an expert in astrophysics. And I have the unmitigated gall to not learn from him, not ask questions, but I'm going to dictate to him like I know something he doesn't. That is how I feel when I speak about the game industry, period. Now, that's not to say I don't come across people that know what I know or even know more than me. That is easily found out by just seeing how people comment, listening, reading some of those comments. Whether it's people talking about a particular game like Tekken or Virtua Fighter or Sega or any fucking thing in gaming. It's like, in my mind, I'm thinking, you really don't know what the fuck you're just talking for the sake of talking. You're talking because you want to give the illusion that you know what you're talking about and you want a seat at this table. You feel that your opinion matters. That's what I be thinking. Like I'll give a more of a gaming example. There's a gentleman that I know by the name of real MK Tom Brady. For those of you who are unaware, he is a Mortal Kombat OG. He is a legend or one of the legends of Mortal Kombat. The man has been around for fucking forever. That would be like me trying to dictate to him and speak to him about Mortal Kombat. Now, he and I, we can go tit for tat on the business of Mortal Kombat. But in terms of the game itself, the lore, the history, this Mortal Kombat had this mechanic, that Mortal Kombat had that mechanic, shit like that, he would absolutely eviscerate me. He would talk circles around me. And I have the humility and the knowledge to acknowledge that. So I know not to go that route. That is the difference between people like me and the people that I see on Twitter. They believe, I've had a guy that I was going back and forth with. He was completely fucking insufferable. I had to like literally mute the conversation. I just untagged myself from the conversation. And he was like saying, "Oh, I'm a business owner and I've worked on like broadcasts of the NFL and NBA and all. So, I mean, I can only take his word for. I think he was fucking capping like a motherfucker, but you know, it is what it is. If it's a lie, he told it. And this was a guy that was I forgot what it was. I think he said something about Virtua Fighter. And I think that's what it was. I think he says something about Virtua Fighter 6 specifically. Oh, no. Wait. Let me think. I don't think it was about, because there was another idiot that I was kind of, but this guy, what was he talking about? Fuck. Let me see. Let me just go and look. Let me just look at this real quick. Let me go on my Twitter. Because this guy, he was a real idiot. Like, it's like Twitter is just full of fools. Let me go to my replies. It would be in my replies, I believe. Go to my profile. This was probably, let me see. Let me see. As you see, I talked a lot about Dead or Alive. This whole section here of people shilling for the fucking game. Let me see. Where is this guy? It could be maybe it's gone? Maybe it's gone when I left the conversation? Perhaps. Oh, here's a fine example. So this guy, here's another example. We're doing this live. We're doing this live. So this guy, Red Dragon, this guy has 20,000 followers. Why? I don't fucking know. It says he's the art of trolling, whatever, right? Okay. So this guy leaves this. He says, June 13th, hey, Asha, when you announce studio closures and fire all those devs whom you gave a new Xbox email to for clout, can you use this chart and explain how you came to your conclusion to put them in danger by pulling a large revenue stream while crying about revenue streams? So he puts this photo here. Xbox published games versus PlayStation. As you can see, the blue is PlayStation, the green is Xbox. So you can see Sea of Thieves, Grounded, Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, Flight Simulator, and so on and so forth. So what you're going to notice is that in this graph, that the green is very small compared to PlayStation. So, important for you guys to recognize that. Okay. Now, the thing to bear in mind, and I go on to even state this, I actually leave several comments here. So I went ham. I say, I swear you Twitter people do not understand business. I'm going to attempt to educate people like you and hopefully people in your audience that has some sense. Here we go. And I go on to basically, so it gets better. So we're gonna go. We're gonna go. So that was number one, right? Let me see. So we go here. So number two, there is a term called installed base. Sony is at 80 million. Xbox is approximately 35 million. So that means the likelihood of any game having more sales on a larger installed base, which in this case is the PlayStation, is going to be higher. Christ almighty. Number three, furthermore, according to the same site link you added, here is another. Because within this article, Alanea utilized stats to showcase that, and this is an article I've been using, that Microsoft has gained $650 million off of porting games to PlayStation, which ironically goes, it actually, the article that this guy shared supports that, given the fact that more people have bought those games on PlayStation than they have on Xbox, and since Xbox gets 70% of that revenue for each sale, basically proves my point. Xbox has gained $650 million over the course of 2 years via their porting strategy that many bitched and complained about. That why is Microsoft porting games to Sony? Shake my head. Number 4, Asha and her team have heard the numerous complaints of Xbox fans wanting exclusives. Personally, I don't give a fuck, as I'm a longtime Xbox user. However, unlike many of you on Twitter, I actually understand various aspects of business. So Asha made a concession in this regards with Gears of War and Clockwork Revolution. Number 5, the main reason for Xbox positioning as they currently are occurred long before Asha's time, and that is the end of the 7th gen, whereby Xbox had an installed base of 84.7 million Xbox 360s, had numerous exclusives, yet ended that generation last. So Microsoft decided to pivot for the 8th generation. Number 6, as such, starting the 8th gen Xbox One up till now, Microsoft realized nothing they do will gain significant traction in Asian markets that are fiercely loyal to both Nintendo and Sony, as was evident during the 7th gen of the Xbox 360, the Wii, and the PS3. Where's number 7? Did I have number 7, or did I skip that? I think I skipped number 7 by accident, unless it was further down. I think I did skip it. But anyway, number 8. Honestly, I legitimately have zero idea why accounts like this guy has so many followers. You know how people... No, oh yeah, I meant to say, you know how many people I see on this app that have literally zero idea of what the fuck they are talking about? It's unreal. It's like the blind leading the blind. No research, no business acumen. And that is what I left off with this particular guy. So let me see. I think I commented on this, right? Yeah, this one says, really excited for Gears of E-Day, but can't help wondering if they will ever see the conclusion for Kate's story. I even acknowledge this one too. When it comes to Gears of War, they decided to add a girl boss no one wanted. It was made evident with Gears 5, hence why they called an audible to release E-Day instead of completing their trilogy. When was the last time you ever seen a trilogy where a prequel was added before completion? And then I have 9 replies on this. And it's, you know, people were like literally like, oh, they were giving other things. So this guy, this fucking idiot here, he says, I'm an idiot because the antagonist of the entire franchise is a queen. You're not qualified enough to critique anything with that take. This guy literally walked into a fucking landmine. So this guy, I then say, sighs, another fool. Kid, I'm far older than you. Been around since I'm far older than you. Been around since the beginning. Bringing up the antagonist proves people like you and many others are complete dumb fucks that missed my entire point regarding the current state of that franchise. Too many dumb fucks on Twitter. So this guy, he brings up the game Borderlands. Fair enough. So I say to him, in any event, the reasoning behind this situation is a result of everything else I stated. Borderlands situation and reasoning are completely different than this franchise, as Gears had a clear focus and tone. Coalition opted for a girl boss, and this is the result. This guy, I don't know who the fuck this guy is. She wasn't a girl boss. Kate relayed heavily on her team for support. Plus, the girl was willing to take her own life to end the swarm. Luckily, she didn't because it would have mattered. Blah, 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 blah. I probably, oh yeah, these are ones I didn't get to. So I didn't even address these here. So it's just kind of like, I'm just like, bro, like it's just, it's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. For me to just go, because at the end of the day, it's almost like roaches. The minute I address one, another comes from behind the wall. So when I address that, like I left that thread. So those other ones, I'm just now seeing those replies. So they're going to call me out for saying what I said, missing the whole point that Gears of War did not sell millions upon millions upon millions of copies in its first fucking trilogy because of a fucking girl character. They sold it because it was based off of pure testosterone, a band of brothers. That's why the fucking game sold the way it sold. That's why it was remembered primarily the first trilogy first. Most people don't give two fucks about Gears 5 or Gears of War 4. Everybody defaults back to the original trilogy. Why? For the reasons I stated. So when I call out Kate Diaz as being a girl boss, and then their fucking reasoning or their counter is, well, the antagonist was a female, you have just proven to me you just completely lost the point. You completely lost the point. So you're basically, you might as well say in this regard that millions upon millions of people bought Gears 1, 2, and 3 because of Queen Mara. They bought into Gears of War because of the Locust Queen. That's how stupid these people are. But they're trying to compare apples to oranges. So this is why for me to go, because I can, if I were to reply to this dumb fuck right here, then I reply to this guy, then I may or may not reply to this guy. I reply to this guy, this guy, this guy. I can guarantee you the next day, it's like nothing I said will have mattered. And it's like, here we go again. So that's why it's like literally, it's like, it almost feels like it's a waste of my fucking time and it's a waste of my efforts. Because people, they are not intelligent. They're dumb. They're dumb. This is not even an ignorance part anymore. This is not even ignorance. This is just being stupid. Because for you to say one thing about Gears of War in terms of, oh, well, you know, Kate is not a girl boss. So we're going to ignore that she ignores her commanding officer in Gears. You know what? Fuck this shit. Let me just play the footage. Let's play the fucking footage. Fuck this shit. I'm gonna have a good old time with this one. Oh, I love doing this. I guess people forget about this. Let me see. Gears 5. Screw your orders. Let's watch my favorite fucking part. Oh, I think somebody has a YouTube short about it.
I need help.
Here we go. Let's watch this shit, shall we?
Up north.
Now, mind you,
I think we can find you answers.
last I heard, this is his son, Marcus Phoenix's son right here. He is the commanding officer here.
You'll go with me.
God damn it, both of you, listen.
I'll go with her. Look, if you're missing, Jen will notice.
Okay. I'll push Jack the coordinates.
No, Corporal, you're coming back to New Ephyra. That is a direct order.
Well, Captain.
Screw your order. This isn't about you. It's about me.
I need to fix
This man got fucking cucked, yo. Look at the girl boss walking. Look at her. Look at this shit. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here with this shit. She ain't a fucking girl boss. Oh, she rely on her. Get the fuck out of here. That is the fucking reason why you have E-Day right now. I'm sorry if that offends any of you beta males out there that sit down and pull your trousers down around your ankles sitting down to pee. I'm sorry that offends some of you, but it is what it is. I forgot she even pushed the guy. So not only are you insubordinate, not only did you disregard a direct order from your fucking superior during a time of fucking war, mind you, but you're like, screw your orders. This ain't about you. It's about me. Bitch, who the fuck you think you are? Who the fuck is you? Oh, I'm Kate Diaz. I run this bitch. Of course you are. You know why you run this bitch? This is why you run this bitch. This is why she runs this bitch. Here we go. Gears 5 box. This is why she runs this bitch. Because her fucking face is prominently featured on the fucking game. That's why. That's fucking why. Where's that shit? Oh, it fucked up. There it is. That's why. I'm like, this is precisely the main reason. This is the only reason why Gears of War E-Day even exists. I can guarantee you, and close up, I usually don't speak in absolutes. I usually don't. I try to not speak like a Sith Lord and speak in absolutes. But this is one of the few times I can't help myself. I can guarantee you that if Gears 5 did what the Coalition expected it to do, I can guarantee you right now, the next game would be Gears 6. 6. But because it did not, they're coming out with E-Day. Featuring who? Dominic and Marcus Phoenix. Oh, that's right. The two motherfuckers from the original trilogy that basically put Gears of War on the map. Oh, what a coincidence. So I guess the girl boss experiment fucking failed. So now we got to double back, retreat. Break glass in case of emergency. You better bring that E-Day out yesterday. Yes, sir. That's why you have Gears of War E-Day coming out now. And why you don't have Gears 6. Otherwise, you'd have Gears 6, they'd end this horrific trilogy that they're working on, and then they would go and do their little E-Day, maybe even the Pendulum Wars or something like that. But somehow, this guy right here, I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh my God, boy. This shit is crazy. It's crazy. People really, it's like people really, these people are just absolutely they're insufferable. They really believe that because they can pinball around the map in a Gears of War game at like like Mach 5 or 500 miles an hour or whatever, they believe that they understand the business of Gears of War. These people are funny, man. Like I said, I can guarantee you, if Gears 5 did the numbers that the Coalition needed it to do, I can guarantee you we would not even be talking about no Gears E-Day. I can guarantee you that. So because the Coalition, they wanted to push for a fucking girl boss, which is exactly what this Kate Diaz is, because they wanted to push for this shit, it flopped, and now they're like, oh shit, it didn't work. All right. It's like Star Wars. You ever saw Star Wars when the Emperor says, execute Order 66? That was what the Coalition had in their pocket. That was the ace in the hole. They're like, we have to execute E-Day because we cannot go with Gears 6 the way the Gears community is feeling right now. We have to win them back. That is the only reason why Gears E-Day is even coming out this year. Will the other these content creators, let me tell you something about these content creators. And this applies to the spineless Dead or Alive creators. They are fucking shills. That's what they are. They are shills. They're getting paid or incentivized under the table to not speak the reality of the situation. Dead or Alive 6 Last Round is a fucking shameless cash grab, and Gears E-Day exists solely because the girl boss that is Kate Diaz failed. And they know if they conclude Gears of War 6 the way I'm pretty sure they're going to, with the death of Marcus Phoenix, there is going to be such a backlash on the Gears franchise. That franchise might as well be dead. So in an effort for the Coalition and Microsoft to try to curry a little bit of favor from the Gears community, that is the reason why you have a Gears of War E-Day coming. That's the fucking reason. I don't need to know how to do a stupid movement exploit to pinball my character at Mach 12 around the fucking map to understand this. I don't need to do that. I understand the business of this shit. I am the Eye of Sauron with this shit right here. You may not. There might be some of you that might play the game better than I do, but best believe I play the real game better than most of you. And that real game is the business behind this whole fucking franchise and this industry. There's too many dumb fucks and shills in this fucking space. And believe me, I haven't even gotten on Dead or Alive 6 ass yet. And it's soon. It's fucking soon. I have a good 20 to 30 minutes on that shit alone. Alone. I'm gonna have a field day when I start talking about that piece of shit. I just felt like let me just do a little something on Gears of War. Because it's the way I envision that franchise ending with Gears 6, it's oh my God. I've spoken about it in another stream. I just don't. They have wrote themselves into a dead end. They have positioned the Kate Diaz character as the alpha and omega of the franchise. They have basically reduced the son of Marcus Phoenix into a bumbling idiot, into a beta male cuck. Marcus Phoenix worrying about What about my tomatoes? Anybody remember that from Gears of War 4? If you know, you know. So they kind of made him how they made him. And they're going to kill him off. I am about 98% sure they're killing off Marcus Phoenix at the end of Gear 6. So, you know, when you kind of see things, it's almost like if you're in a car and you're driving down the street and you see a massive fucking pothole ahead of you, it's kind of like that. Microsoft sees it too in the coalition, but they're like, you know something? It's going to be fucked up, so let's just try to make this happen. Let's try, because if Gears of War 6 ends the way I see it ending, the chances of them trying to bring back the loyal fan base for a Gears of War E-Day is going to be much more difficult at that point after you ended the trilogy versus doing it at Gears 5. That's just the nature of that's how this works. I just wish that there were more people that that understood the bigger picture. I wish people understood the larger picture. This is why I feel, just as a very tiny creator, and I have very few active people on my channel, in my chat, in the streams, but when I watch some of these channels that have thousands upon thousands of just people and all this influence, all of this power, and I see obvious downplaying, obvious shilling, obvious fucking just bullshit, it pisses me off to no end. It makes me feel like I'm shouting and nobody is hearing me. Nobody even knows I exist. It's vexing to no end. It's like I feel like I'm the only one that sees why they're bringing out this Gears of War E-Day. It's like I'm the only one. I'm the only one that can see this whole shit, that they fucked up with this girl boss experiment, but then you're going to have dumb fucks in my Twitter that I just showed that's basically going to try to tell me, oh, well, you know, she's not a girl boss because of this, and they're going to reference the fucking Locust Queen. I'm like, what does the antagonist, oh my, like, it... It's so mentally draining. It really is. I feel like I don't know where else to even take these topics, because it feels like only 50 people is going to look at it anyway. If I like even this whole segment, I'm going to clip this segment out. I'm going to fucking make a Gears of War thumbnail on this shit. And I'm going to upload this shit tomorrow. I guarantee it's going to probably get maybe 30 views at best. So it's like what's the fucking point, right? But the only thing I tell myself is like, hey, at least there might be somebody that'll get it. There might be somebody that will open their eyes. That's my little consolation to myself. And it's the same reason and the same feeling I have when I'm about to talk about the upcoming cash grab that is called Dead or Alive 6 Last Round. Same shit. Even worse, actually. So I do what I do, you know, where you got the larger creators that got like fucking 1,000 views on their video after like 5 minutes after it uploads, spewing a bunch of bullshit. It's fucking irritating. It really, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, it's very irritating. It really is. It's like I'm literally breaking down exactly the reason why Gears E-Day exists. And it's like it just goes right over people's heads. It's like they just don't get it. They don't see it. Like people aren't asking, like, basic math. Isn't 4, 5, and 6? Like So how did we go from 4 and 5 and now we're on a prequel? Like, how does that work? How are we on a prequel in the middle of a trilogy? What? Like, nobody's asking this? Nobody thinks of this shit? Am I the only, like, I feel like I'm the only one that like, and mind you, I'll admit, I suck at math. Math was never my strong suit, but I can damn sure count to 6. Okay? 4, 5, 6 comes after 5. So how in the fuck are we going to a prequel? What? Yeah, you can't make this shit up. This shit is fucking hilarious. It is. It's hilarious, but it's sad at the same time. It's just. It's like I'm just like, man, there has to be some people that get it. There has to be. I can't be the only one. I can't be. And then you got those people that are saying, oh, well, Microsoft making Gears of War an exclusive is going to hurt them and they're leaving money on the table from Sony. There was another fool that actually said that on Twitter. And then I had to hit this guy with, like, you are aware that in the last 2 years, Microsoft has benefited $650 million from you Sony folk, right? You are aware of this, right? But I mean, like, come on, man. Like, these people can't be this dumb. They can't be, like, maybe they are. Maybe they fucking are. It's just wild to me. Even right now, talking about, when you're right now, I have that feeling in my mind. You've ever studied something really hard and you get that mental fatigue that feels like you want to go to sleep? That's how I'm feeling right at this moment. I literally have that mental fatigue of even speaking about these dumb fucks on Twitter that don't know jack shit about anything beyond pressing buttons and swiping their debit card. It's mentally draining. It truly is. Truly. And I try to be respectful. I try. And some days I'm better than others. But when you deal with dozens of people that are complete fools, your patience gets increasingly smaller with each tweet you see. It's just like, oh my God, these people. Oh my God. I feel like just bashing my head against a brick wall. I truly do. It's like, how? Like, you're trying to tell a company that has made $3 trillion. Three. That's not to say my mind is even falling asleep right now. 3 trillion. Then they'll say, oh, well, Microsoft made that, not Xbox. Okay, so now we're nitpicking. Okay, fine. Okay, so all right. But Microsoft made 650. In fact, it's more than 650 now, because the time those numbers came out was like at least a month or two ago. So now it's over $650 million that Microsoft gained as revenue from porting their games over to PlayStation. It's like many of these people have never heard of anything called the term a licensing deal. It's like, I have an IP. Oh, they probably don't even know what an IP stands for. An intellectual property. And because you have more customers than I do, I have 50 customers. You have 100. So no matter how, even if I have 100% conversion rate, if I have 100% conversion rate and you have an 80% conversion rate, because you have more people to sell to, you are by default going to have more sales and more profit than me. Because I'm starting with 50 people and you have 100. So what do? I license my product to you so that I get my 50 from my side and you sell to your 100, and I'm getting 70% for each one of your conversions. Do people... Oh my God. These people are fucking stupid. These people are stupid. They're stupid. They're dumb. It's in a licensing deal. Microsoft, as the IP holder, they get 70% off the top. Sony, as the platform holder, they get 30%. So if you're on PlayStation and you go to your Sony store and you buy Halo for $69.99, Microsoft is getting 70% of that $76 you spent in the Sony shop. Sony is getting 30% of that $76 you spent in the Sony shop. Once that 70% comes back to Microsoft, after Microsoft does their thing of paying their taxes on the money and all this shit, Microsoft clears between 30 to 40% profit. So if Sony having 80 million installed base, even if you have 60% of PlayStation owners that will buy Halo Campaign Evolved, combine that with the amount of people over on the Xbox side that's gonna buy Halo Campaign Evolved, combine that in addition to the people on PC that's gonna buy Halo Campaign Evolved. When you factor all of that in, Microsoft will be doing just fine. Now, the reason why Microsoft decided to list Clockwork Revolution and Gears of War E-Day as Xbox exclusives is 100%, and you should know on my channel I don't like to deal in absolutes, but I gotta call a spade a spade. The primary reason for this is because people on the Xbox side, they continue to bitch, whine, piss, and moan. Oh, we don't have Xbox exclusives. When we don't have I, as somebody who understands this business, I don't give a flying fuck about Xbox exclusives. I don't care. If you play an Xbox game on your PlayStation, it doesn't do jack shit to me on my side. Doesn't do anything. It would be like I wish somebody would make a funny meme, because I don't have those skills, of somebody playing a game that's on both Xbox and PlayStation and somehow do it to where the person that's playing it on PlayStation, it's magically shutting off the Xbox player's Xbox. Like on some silly, stupid shit. Like, I don't have those skills, but I think it would be a funny meme. It would just go to illustrate how dumb it is, because that's not what happens. If you play Gears of War or Reloaded or Forza 5 or whatever Xbox game that's also on PlayStation, because you fire it up on your PS5, it does not shut down my Xbox. It's just ridiculous. But unfortunately, like I said, there's far too many gamers on both sides that don't know jack shit about the way of business. So they kept bitching and complaining to Asha Sharma. So Asha Sharma decided to make 2 exclusives. That's why that is. Now, people will say, well, you know, it's not going to make as much money. That's fine. They are taking that into consideration because, contrary to popular belief, Xbox does make somewhat good money off of the Gears of War multiplayer. So when you factor in that, the microtransactions and all that other stuff, is it going to make as much money if it would have been released on PlayStation? No. If it was on PlayStation, yeah, it probably would make more money. Actually, it would make more money. But this is Asha Sharma's effort to kind of be like, I hear you. Now, you might be wondering, well, why don't they just do that with Halo? Halo is I would venture to say that Halo is in worse shape than Gears. Halo, by many people's, it's basically that franchise is destroyed. It is my belief that this Halo campaign Evolved is a means for Microsoft to try to jumpstart life back into Halo, because they've already done this already by porting the upgraded versions of Gears, the Gears 1, I think it was Gears Reloaded, on PlayStation. So they're doing Halo campaign Evolve the same treatment for PlayStation to try to jumpstart it. That's why they're doing it that way. And also because the game, you know, that's just really what it is. That's really what it is. Because Halo Master Chief Collection, that had a horrific start. It's in a much better place now, but it was in a much worse position when it first launched. Same with Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite was really bad at launch. Now that the game, it's a dead game, but Halo Infinite is much better. If Halo Infinite launched, obviously we're playing Monday or say Tuesday morning quarterback at this point, hindsight 2020. But if Halo Infinite launched on Series X or 1X or whatever, it was like back in 2019 or 2020 or 2020, or whatever year it was. I'm sorry, my brain is shutting down. I'm getting tired. But if it released in the current state it's in now, Halo Infinite would have sold a lot more. That's just what it is. But that wasn't what happened. So with all of the extra money that Microsoft is going to be getting from people, you Sony folk, that's going to be buying the Xbox games, you know, those of you that's going to be buying Fable, I believe Fable is still going to PlayStation. Forza 6, people still buying that game. Halo Campaign Evolved. There's still going to be a lot of games. I believe State of Decay 3 is probably going to be on PlayStation as well. So there are a lot of other Xbox-centric games that's going to be coming to PlayStation. And thank you, Sony fans and fanboys and fangirls, for swiping or, you know, confirming that payment option and spending $69.99, because again, Microsoft will be getting 70% of your money off the top. So people will be like, oh, well, Gears of War is not going to do that. Well, I am pretty sure, based on my experience, that Asha Sharma and Microsoft are well aware that Gears of War is likely not going to bring in the type of money they need it to, because they're making the conscious effort of keeping it exclusive. So this is like, you cannot be naive to think that there are not people at Microsoft, at Xbox, that make like $200, maybe $300,000 a year, and their job is to come up with all of these other situations and these ideas of cost risk analysis. Like, this is something that they are planning. The loss of money that they might miss out on from Gears E-Day, Microsoft is looking to make up for that from the other games that they're going to have on Sony's platform. They are very much committed to Gears of War. I wouldn't be surprised that they're probably at some point in time they're going to redo not redo the trilogy, but they're probably going to go and create Gears 2 and 3 and remaster those like they remastered the first game. They're more than likely going to be working on Gears 6 to try to get that out sometime maybe around 2030, 2031 or something like that to finish that trilogy. And then I guess maybe they'll probably bring out Gears 2 and 3 and then bundle it up as a Gears Master Collection or what have you. That's the future. That's the long-term play I see them doing, because a lot of times, a lot of you gamers don't understand that not only is this a business, but these companies think years ahead in the future. Whether or not those decisions end up being good or bad, but these decisions are made with years in it, like years in the future. Like, okay, we're looking at this for 2026, but we're looking at the gain of this for 2028 or so on. They are forward thinking. You have to be when you're $1 trillion company. It's like the expression of like if somebody is moving really fast, you don't try to hit them where they are, you try to hit them where they're gonna be. Or if you're a football player and you're a quarterback, you don't throw where the receiver is, you throw where the receiver is going to be. The same thing in business. You are basically creating different projects, you're greenlighting different projects, and with the intent of knowing that you are likely not going to see anything meaningful of that project for several years in the future. Unless you just happen to get lucky, catch lightning in a bottle, and it just kicks off like some Minecraft type shit, or PUBG, or one of those games that just kind of went crazy. But you can't count on that. That's like counting as a content creator that every video you make is going to go viral. Like, you can't count on that. It's just shit happens. Who knows? You know? All you can do is try to do the best you can. If it happens to go viral, that's gravy. That's sprinkles on top of the sundae right there. That's how this works. So, you know, this guy said that's why my Xbox fried. Somebody loaded Forza on PS5. Those fuckers. That was a good one, by the way, actually. Oh man. Jeez. Anyway, should I even, you know what? I think I'm beginning I'm kind of like mentally drained. I think if I talk about Dead or Alive right now, I think I'm going to completely blow my brain. My brain is literally going to shut off. So I think I'm going to press some buttons. I think that's what I'm going to do. Fuck that. I'm going to press some buttons right now. I'm going to stream marker this so I can go back to it and cut it however way I need to at like 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever. And I am going to go and press some fucking buttons right now. I downloaded UFC 6. EA Play has a 10-hour. Get a damn microphone. All right, let me read. All right. So the microphone is good. It must have cut out just for a moment. All right. Let me go and activate my and anyway, I hope, you know, whoever of you that's in this chat, you know, it would be great. It would be amazing if you guys were to just go and follow me over on my Twitter. It would be such a great thing. It will be such a great confidence booster. Because I got to tell you, there's sometimes where I don't feel like streaming to YouTube because I don't feel like dealing with the fucking thumbnail, all the bullshit. I just want to, like, if it's like 10 at night or whatever time it is, it's so much easier just for me to go live on Twitch, mash my buttons real quick in a moment and hop on and hop off. It's like with YouTube, I feel like I gotta do more for, like, even if it's in my own mind, it just feels that way, you know. It's like when I'm about to do streaming on YouTube, I feel like it's much more of a deliberate process than me just go on Twitch and that's it. You know what I'm saying? At least that's how it feels, but you know. So it'll help my confidence, you know. I'm just keeping it real, you know. But let me see. Oh yeah, let's turn this on. And because I'm really curious about this UFC shit, and maybe it'll wake my brain up, because I heard that there's some things about the game people don't like. I heard they don't like this new mechanic. I had somebody say it's like a Tekken 8 Heat. I laughed when I heard about that, but then when I learned about it, I was like, you know, it kind of is. It's not that far off course. You know, you can make the argument it's kind of like Heat, but when I learned more about it, I was like, you know something, it's not quite as stupid as Tekken 8 with their Heat system, but we about to find out. We about to find out right now. I hope that I can play. I hope so, because as you can see, I got Mass Effect here. You know, one of the last godlike franchises. Oh, hold on, I forgot. I don't have it shown right now. Wait a second. Let me switch the view real quick. Game capture, Xbox. There we go. So, all right, the audio is good for this. Make sure. Yes, it is. Okay. Okay. Now, let's see. We got Shama, who got hit in the back of the head that last fight like fucking 13 million times. But let's see. So all I'm looking to see is when I activate this, if I'm pressing buttons on my controller and nothing is being registered, then I guess I'm gonna have to do this off stream. So I'm hoping that's not the case. What is this little tab here? Oh, that's different. What's new? Oh, wow. This is different. I am part of the Oh, okay. They have this. All right, that's good. Okay, yeah, I'm part of the Xbox Insider program. So okay, so that's cool. It kind of leads you to that. That's what's up. All right, let me quit that. And as you can see, I also have Control. I downloaded Visions of Mana, and yeah, so I wanted to try those, but let's see what we got here. Hopefully this works. And I have 10 hours. So what I'm likely gonna do when I play this, since I only have 10 hours, since I only have 10 hours, I'm likely going to make my own little video in the video, just so I can probably have that as a separate whatever. So I'm probably gonna just go through my general feeling of this game in real time. So, you know, basically I'm like making a video while I'm doing the stream because I don't own this game. So we're gonna see. It's all right. So I'm gonna hit record. So I'm gonna record this while I'm playing. All right. Okay, good. It does work. Okay. So you know what I'm gonna do? Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. Since I know this works, I'm gonna start from scratch, and we're gonna start recording. So, in fact, you know what I'm gonna do? Because I had a friend of mine that wanted to mess or kind of see this game. So let me all right, hold on, what was I gonna do? Okay, let me go and send the stream to this guy real quick and let him know. He's a close friend of mine. So let me delete this. Let me delete a few tabs. I don't have no crazy slowdown. Let me go to Instagram real quick. Hold on, bear with me, guys. Okay. All right. About. Let me do this. I guess when I left, it disconnected me. All right, so I'm waiting for that. There we go. Okay, so I'm good. All right, cool. All right, let me check this one more time. All right, let me get that out the way. And all right, I think I'm good. All right. All right, so basically I had a lot of interest for this game. This is my first time playing it. I'm gonna see what's good. I've heard a lot of the people complain about it, saying that there's some heat like Tekken 8 aspects to it with the flow state. So I'm gonna try to see what I can do with this game and just kind of, you know, see what it's all about. It's been a while since I played a UFC game. I think the last one I played was like UFC 2 or UFC 3. But, you know, we're going to see and see what this is all about. Let me see. Okay, contender, welcome to the Octagon. Okay, we got pro, champion. So, you know, let me, you know, this is one of the times I'll admit and say, you know, we're going to go contender here.
Every fighter has a story, born in every corner of the globe and shaped by the places, people, and cultures that forged them. Some battle for survival, others build discipline in the quiet hours before dawn, and many carry the weight of family, honor, and hope across generations. Their past enters the octagon with them in every movement and every refusal to quit. Loss, pride, and the drive to belong become fuel. Through adversity, they transform struggle into strength, molding every lesson, setback, and victory into purpose. To rise, they must master 3 essentials: strike with ferocity, defend with intelligence, and find the rarest state of all, the flow, where mind and body move as one. That's the line between contender and champion. It always begins with striking. The greatest don't just throw leather. They craft a masterpiece with every blow, every punch, Every kick, a brushstroke. A signature of pain, precision. They don't strike for hope. They strike with intent. Each landed shot, a ripple through the story of a fight. A legacy written, one moment at a time. In this world, a single opening, one fraction of a second,
Oh,
shift everything. Power, accuracy. That's the difference between chasing greatness and becoming it.
Man, this is crazy in here tonight, champ, as we get ready to witness two of the biggest.
deadass. I gotta play right now.
I get so excited. Two of the best guys in the world. fighting
Nah.
each other. Right, they're right there.
Here we go.
Oh,
Round one.
no.
Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. Expecting a little bit of a feeling out process here.
Well, you
Oh,
have,
okay.
You gotta be respectful because you know one mistake, you end your night.
Oh shit.
Good footwork and movement. Nice mobility out of Holloway.
Oh
Holloway
fuck.
talks about his boxing, but boxing isn't
Wait,
just
pray-
about the
wait.
feet, It's about the feet, and that's what makes.
Oh no. I don't think I can play it. Oh fuck, it says press X to throw punches. Yeah, it's saying I'm pressing the fucking buttons, but nothing's happening. I was afraid this would happen. Fuck, this is exactly I'm like, yo, why is the fucking, I know my controller is working, but it's like, yeah. Oh man, I'm gonna have to fuck with this off stream. That's the reason why, like, some games, I thought the minute that I was able to advance and press, you know, start the game, I thought that would work. But now that I'm actually in the game, it's like nothing's pressing. I can't even move. So I can start, I can pause it. So I guess this is very different. This is very, very, very different. Because some games won't work at all. Damn, man, this fucking sucks. I wanted to... So I guess I'm just going to have to just do a regular video offline about it. That's probably what I'm going to... That's, like, I have no other option. The only thing I can think of is if I quit the remote feature and then reactivate the feature, because that's what I have to do with Ninja Gaiden 4. I have to already be in like the gameplay of Ninja Gaiden 4, and then I have to activate. So so that's what I'm gonna do. So right quick, I'm gonna deactivate the remote feature, and so I'll just put the camera on me real quick. So I'll deactivate that. And then, okay, so we stopped playing remote. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, so I'm like, so now I can, like, you guys can't see it, but I can now punch. Wow. Okay. So we'll just let that stay on the screen. I'll reconnect and see if this does anything. Okay. Okay. That's how I do it. Okay. So now let me get out to this part here. All right, let me see. Hopefully it's... Wait, what the fuck? What is this now? Oh my fucking God, bro.
Exactly what he needed to avoid. Unfortunately for him, he has not done that.
Wait. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, so I think I figured it out. I guess I can get it to play, but I can't see the, I won't be able to interact with chat whatsoever. Like, because, yeah, so I won't be able to, like, basically what I'm looking at right now, I have my entire OBS set up. So I can see my scenes, I can see the chat, I can see my overlay, I can see my activity feed, but I cannot, I'm pressing the buttons and nothing's happening until I exit out of this and put it full screen on the Xbox app. So I guess you guys could still see it. I can only assume because I haven't disconnected the stream, but I guess that's what it'll be. I guess the only way I can know for sure is if I look at my phone, and I can look at my phone and look at my own stream and see if it's still going. So that's what I'm going to see. No, I haven't made the change yet because, you know, I would have to like, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to access my stream on my phone. And yeah, that's the thing with doing my thing like this. It's very irritating. All right. So I gotta find my channel because Red Related, and let me go live on my own phone, which is not the best because my phone sucks, but I can at least see what you guys are seeing. Okay. All right, so now I'm about to make the change now.
Landed time and time again down the middle. Now you start to see the ones and the twos turns into 3s, 4s, and 5s. Stuff that needs to change.
Oh shit.
All right, now we got some blood, ladies and gentlemen. It looks, man, this match is something to go from a 5-piece and a coat to now landing with power.
I mean, unbelievable. That match has turned into this match. Ever since going up to 155, carries a different power. And if you're not careful, Max will shut those lights out. Max Holloway is beating up.
This looks really, really good, by the way.
In the fight game, there's a saying: the best offense is a solid defense. Inside the
I'm gonna have to completely edit the fuck out of this footage, by the way.
tacticians, chess players in
All
a
right.
world of chaos. They anticipate, evade, turn heat into opportunity. Elite defenders are ghosts, untouchable, untamed. They force opponents to miss, then make them pay for every mistake. Defense is patience, discipline, the art of seeing the storm, then striking like lightning when the time is right. That's where champions are forged.
That one was crazy. That came like literally like 1 second at the bell.
Holloway got pieced up yet again in that round.
Johnny's got to change something up. Listen, his corner has got to find a way to get through him.
Take a deep breath. Good job. Listen, I need to see more defense out there. More head movement, side to side, keep moving. I don't want to see your feet planted. Keep your hands up and your feet moving. Watch his timing, you'll see it. Make him miss and make him pay. Let's go. Keep that defense up. Let's go, you got this.
Well, I guess the school's out of there. Next round is underway, and you heard it from the corner there. They want defensive adjustments, and they want them now.
They want their guy to be who he is. Max Holloway isn't just offense. He's a very good defensive fighter. They
Okay.
want to see that in
Okay. All right, I can't do this. Yeah, I'm just gonna end up recording. I can't do this. So yeah, I can't, because now all of a sudden it's like I'm holding right to block, right trigger, and it's not working. So this is one of those games. Let me exit out of that. Yeah, this is one of those games that yeah, for what I guess this doesn't, some games just doesn't work well with me doing the remote feature. And so that's the thing that kind of fucking sucks. Yeah. So, but from what I can see, I mean, the game does look pretty cool. It moves very well. I'm just gonna have to probably just do a video offline and just do it that way. So I think that's what I'll do. So I'll save my time because you know they only give you about what 8 hours or something like that, 10 hours. So yeah, we'll do that. But yeah, that kind of sucks, but it is what it is, you know. If I had a capture card, I wouldn't have to worry about that. But the problem with a capture card, and I think another one of my subscribers asked this, is when you use a capture card, your laptop, your hardware does a lot of the work. So since my laptop isn't that strong, you know, and then also my laptop only has one USB port. So sometimes if I'm moving the laptop around, like the way my setup is, like I don't even know if I can even show it. So so I have one USB. So it goes in like around where that orange light is, and then I got my USB adapter right there. So this little rectangle thing. So that's 4 ports. So I can plug 4 things in there. That's how I have my microphone, the webcam. But that would mean that I'd also have to plug in the capture card, because you have to plug the USB from the capture card into the computer. So if I move, if this little rectangle thing moves a little, like shifts a certain way, then I'll lose the entire stream, because I only have one USB. And I don't know if it's the port or if it's just this rectangle thing in general. But I guess it might be a little bit loose. That's why I have it sitting at a certain way. So when I move my computer, and if this USB, the adapter or whatever, if this shifts a little too much, then I basically lose everything until I readjust it. So as long as I don't fuck with it, it's fine. But in the event something does happen, it can kind of kill the whole stream. So when I do it this way through the cloud, or not really through the cloud, through the remote, I don't have to worry about none of that. You know, the only thing with the cloud, I don't know if PlayStation allows you to do that, is it's more line of sight. So because my Xbox is like literally like maybe 4 feet away from me, you know, it works pretty good. But there's some games it doesn't work well with, you know, and I guess UFC is one of those games. I know Doom the Dark Ages is another game. That's why I haven't played that game on stream. Ninja Gaiden 4 only works if, like I said, if I start Ninja Gaiden 4 and then activate the remote feature, then it'll kick in. But if I just go remote and then press to play Ninja Gaiden, it's going to be like I'm pressing buttons and nothing's happening. And I remember when Ninja Gaiden 4 first came out, was first released, that's what happened. And I was thinking the whole time there was something wrong with the game. But it was, you know, so, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, man. But anyway, it's like 11 o'clock. I got a lot of editing to do with this shit, so I'm probably just gonna like probably chill. And that's again like sometimes, like if it's in the middle of the night, sometimes I'll just go live on Twitch. You know, I probably just feel like playing something, fucking around or whatever. Tried a couple of different games, see what might work, get a few new people, because you know Twitch is like 24 hours a day. So but sometimes I come out with like a whole thumbnail and title, description, all that shit for YouTube. Sometimes I don't feel like doing all that. You know, especially if it's like around this time and I just want to just fire up a fucking game and just mash buttons. So that's why it's like, yo, I know some people don't like the Twitch ads or whatever. But hey, if you have Amazon Prime, you can like literally use one of your like your subscription to a creator, you know, or just stomach the ads. I mean, shit, I do. You know, I don't have YouTube Premium, so when I'm hit with ads, I got to deal with it. But that's an option. But I think I'm just gonna head to the store, get a bite to eat real quick, and then you know, maybe I'll hop back online, but it'll be on Twitch if I do. So, you know, that's about it. And yeah, because it's like 11 right now. And I think that's what it is. So hopefully, yeah, you know, hopefully you guys, I see a few that's lurking. Hopefully you guys will you know, hopefully I'll see a few follows on the Twitch. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, hopefully a few. And yeah, hopefully, you know, I guess we'll see. Unless some of you are already, you know, this is for the people who are not following me on Twitch. Yeah, so I think that's about it. Is there anything else I want to say? Not really. Yeah, because I think I'm just chilling right now. Because I had intention of playing like Control. I really like that game. I want to show that. Play some Mass Effect. Assassin's Creed Shadows just had their final update, so I want to mess around with that here and there. Advance in the game. A couple other RPGs. Maybe some old school games. Maybe a few matches of Virtua Fighter, whatever comes to my mind. It's much easier just to do this on Twitch, to be honest. So, but I understand if you guys hate the Twitch ads. I get it. You know, it is what it is. So, but yeah. All right, so I'm out of here. I guess I'll talk to you guys down the road. And if you don't know the actual Twitch thing, which I can't imagine because it's kind of like the same as my channel, but I guess I can just fucking put this. Let me see. Put it right there. Copy, paste. I guess that's it right there. So there it is. And so with that being said, I guess I'm out of here. I need to get some food, take a break, and I appreciate you guys tapping in with me. Anyway, take care. Peace. I appreciate you guys tapping in with me. Anyway, take care. Peace.